not taking no for an answer. She was drunk and he had... Thanks for summarizing everything in one place. Seems like a ton of smoke for there not to be a fire. This is probably true.
I told him to get out of my car again. He wouldn't get out.
I'm fighting against everything in me to say that we are just seeing an exploitation of the current times by regretful women. I don't think so. My guess would be...
I'm hoping
brave.
none of y'all think he should die for this.
Brave stance.
He confirmed what they're saying is true. Oof. Okay?
On January 5th, TikTok user Cornbread posted a TikTok accusing Andrew sexual coercion / sexual assault on March 2021, St. Petersburg, Florida. She doesn't talk much about the relationship prior to this night, but just says that she liked him, thought he was cool, and wanted to be friends with him. This night, while the two were at a dive bar, Andrew said he had a falling out with his crew member and he needed a place to stay for the night. Cornbread said she let him sleep over at her place, but she made it clear that she didn't want anything sexual to happen between them. However, at one point during the night, he gets in her bed and begins repeatedly asking her for sex, not taking no for an answer. Eventually, she finally says yes, or she describes it, he wore me down and it was fight or flight and I couldn't control my body anymore and I froze. She also states that while both were drunk that night, Andrew seemed to be purposefully trying to get her to overtly drunk and bought her a lot of tequila while at the dive bar. She tried to come out with the story earlier, but Andrew texted her and said it would ruin his life if she did come out. He also apparently texted her his own completely different view of that night, which is obviously very frustrating to read after such a traumatic event. In a later TikTok, as evidence she has been with Andrew, she posts a pic of the two together and also a screenshot of their Insta DMs. She also posts a bunch of accusatory DMs she's collected from about 10 different people that have felt comfortable coming out to her. This is the one that kicked it all off. I'm gonna be honest. I give this one a light 5. Kind of shitty. He's pushing hard, but the whole he bought me a lot of alcohol. I mean, was he drinking too? Is he forcing you to drink? You guys were in public. I don't know if we've seen the texts of him asking her not to say anything. I haven't seen those texts. I give this one a light 5. Light 5 to strong 4 maybe. Just not much here to care about, I don't think. A pattern of this behavior would be a little spooky. Asma, welcome to the $20 Tier 3 Cyber Clubber. Don't know why she wouldn't show the text of him pressuring her not to say anything. I don't know. Moving on to Moldy Freckles' story. A couple days later, another woman, Moldy Freckle, posted her video on TikTok. Her story starts on January 29th, 2019, as that's when she first DMs Andrew, thinking he was cute, and he responded. From there, she would meet up with Andrew occasionally for sex, but only when she was extremely drunk. After knowing him for a bit, she began to feel Andrew gave off bad vibes, being mean and sexually demanding. One day, when Andrew again messaged her to hang out, she refused, explaining she didn't like the type of person he was. Andrew said he wanted to apologize, so she reluctantly accepted a date. On the date, he proceeds to barely apologize and continually asks her to have sex with him in her car. When she refuses, he then asks for a drive home. She accepts, but once in the car, he sexually harasses her, kissing her without her consent, grabbing her thigh and body tightly, and even putting his hand down her shorts without consent. He also refused to leave the car when she asked him to, forcing her to drive out of fear. Although she never mentions this in her video, in one comment, she also mentions she had to physically kick Andrew at one point to get him off her. She posted various pics of her DMs later as proof of their interactions.
So this is when we first started DMing. Yes, I messaged him first. I know y'all are going to come for me about that. I really don't care. I thought he was cute at the time. He asked where the best pho was in New Orleans. Yeah. Not my finest moment, but I'm being honest, and obviously it's embarrassing.
There's nothing wrong about this. You're sliding in, all right? I think this is what, most girls that, slide into my DMs will send, a random picture or say something, kind of corny, oh, hey, just trying to slide in. It's forward, it's whatever. Everyone knows what's up. It's good. Nothing wrong with this.
Further goes to show that I have nothing to gain from this. We added each other. He asked me what I was doing. I said I had class, whatever. More bullshit. He asked me when we're chilling. I said, when are you free? He says, right now. And I mean, I don't know how important this actually is. He says right
When are you free? Right now.
now.
Besides right now, I'm watching this Ted Bundy thing. It'd be like that. I'm down. I'm not really free that often.
And
okay.
I mean, I don't know how important this actually is to you people, but here's
So I have to make an appointment. Lols, I guess so.
making
Tomorrow from 8 to 10.
an appointment, I guess. A date, an appointment just to meet up. And then after this, I was like, can I give you my number?
Do you have a meeting after 10 p.m. with the mayor? Meant to say 8 p.m. Just cleared up some appointments. Thanks for squeezing me in. Can I give you my number? Because I feel sleazy now with the direct messaging. What does that mean? Why do girls feel this way? I feel sleazy DMing. I'm sorry, I'm not like criticizing. I've just never understood it. Everybody considers texts to be more intimate. I don't know why. I've never understood it.
I gave him my number. Obviously, I'm not going to show y'all the number. It's an old phone number, so all the text messages between us, I don't have access to anymore. Here's another time of him saying, what are you doing tonight? I said, I'm studying. And I said, are you going to come to the library? He said, can't we study at your place? You know, it's a common line. He would actually ask to spend the night a lot, as if like he didn't have a place to stay, which was weird.
Wait, can you show that?
Can we study at your place? Yeah, whatever, sure. So anyways, yeah, here's the proof or whatever that I know him in the first place. Some people think that maybe he doesn't know me at all. Well, he could say he doesn't know me if he wants to, but he does. So,
Yeah, if what she said here is true, this is pretty bad. This is like sexual assault, or maybe even rape. If he's literally sticking his hand down her pants and she's like, bro, f*** off, and he's trying to like finger her. But okay, one of my friends said, watching the stream on my lunch, girls don't like to continue over DM because it looks sluttier when you show your friends the messages. It feels like anyone can DM, but it's more intimate if you give them your number. Interesting. Okay. Thanks, babe. Thanks for the DM, babe. Put him in there. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. It's all the same shit to me. Actually, if it's better to DM me on something than to text me, because if you text me, I'm probably never responding because I suck at responding to texts. Okay. I just don't like to type on my phone. It's fucking annoying. (2021), aka Cornbread Astral's friend. In August 2021, an Instagram story from an account said her friend was sexually harassed by Andrew. This is later revealed to be actually an earlier reporting of Cornbread Astral's assault after a Reddit thread surfaced. In this Reddit thread, she confirmed her Reddit account was the one who posted the original 2021 Insta story by sharing a screenshot of said Instagram page. But noticeably, the screenshot of the account shows the ability to leave a note, something you can only do if you're signed into the account yourself. Then in a private DM, which I've posted in Sourcely, she confirms her allegations were a reference to Cornbread Astral. Oh, so this was just the same story. In the Reddit thread, she goes more in depth about her experience. She said the night after the sexual assault occurred, she called, Cornbread Astral called her, bawling her eyes out, and essentially told her the exact same story that she later revealed on TikTok in her coming out video. After originally posting the allegations to her Insta account, Cornbread's friend also received DMs, which she then posted in her story, keeping the DMs anonymous. One DM she posts is from someone who states that she's known Andrew a long time and he's done similar things to at least 3 other girls, all in different cities, most underage. This is his show. Please unfollow him and stop supporting a man who has to manipulate and break women down to have sex. He's a f***ing loser. I have heard people reply saying that they have also had uncomfortable and forced situations with him in the past in different states. Clearly, he was a serial abuser. Be careful, y'all. Hey, this is kind of random. We don't know each other, but I saw your post reposted about Andrew Callahgan. I've known him for a long time and know he's done this to at least 3 other girls, all in different cities, most underage. He's on this podcast I really like, and I feel compelled to reach out to the host or something, so I'm just trying to get more information. You definitely don't need to tell me any specifics at all. I'm just wondering if whoever this happened to was underage and if it was in New Orleans or Nashville. Totally understand if you aren't comfortable. I just need to do something. I'm tired of seeing this happen to so many people. He 10,000% knows people in Florida. I had another friend message me saying, yeah, I have a friend who you dead don't know that he did, who you dead don't know that he did something similar to in St. Pete. A friend messaged this friend messaging this person. Then 2 friends in New Orleans who said he got kicked out of whatever scene there for being a creep. Then some random from New Orleans added a message me saying he's done this there and in Tennessee and Washington. Dude is a 23-year-old predator with a mic. So this is just a repeat of the one earlier. "2020 allegations. First, originally posted these allegations requested discretion and privacy, so I will purposely not be posting any links, and I hope you all keep this in mind coming upon the 2020 allegations. In 2020, a woman revealed that Andrew attempted to sexually prey on one of her friends who was very drunk. Despite their inebriation, this girl still has the state of mind to say no to Andrew, but he continued pestering them for sex. After posting a story online, the original poster got a DM from a woman saying that Andrew raped one girl she knew and was acting creepy to a bunch of others. She also said he aggressively pursued the DMer when they were 17 and came on to her multiple times, even though she said no. He invited her back to his place and apparently attempted to follow the girl with her friend home in the dark. Yeah, he went to school with me my freshman year, raped an underage girl in Seattle, and was a total creep to a bunch of other girls at my friend's high school in Seattle. Hung out with him once the freshman year when I was still 17. He aggressively came on to me, even after I told him no. Wait, if this was in 2020, how old is this Andrew Callahgan guy? He's 25. So in 2020, he would have been 22 and 17. That's probably not right. Actually, you know what? That might even be within age of consent, I think, actually, in these states. I'm not sure. I don't know what it is. I'm not a libertarian. I don't have them all memorized. This is hearsay. A lot of these are hearsay, which is... hearsay is not he said, she said. Hearsay is somebody telling you what somebody else has said, which is, for a variety of reasons, just not very good. Navy story. The last big story was posted on January 7th. It takes place in New Orleans, late 2019, early 2020. A friend of Moldy Freckles came forward and spoke about his own partner's interaction with Andrew while she was 17 in college, while Andrew was 22. Is this the same one? She describes how she and a friend went to hang out with him one day. He took him to a local abandoned Navy base, which was known to be a fun place to explore and do graffiti. During the hangout, he acted oddly possessive over her, grabbing at her all day and trying to isolate her from her small group of friends. The group decided they didn't like his weird behavior and took an Uber to a bar. Andrew followed them in his own Uber to the same bar and kept ordering her shots, then later pulled the 17-year-old around the corner and forcibly tried to make out with her until her roommates came over and intervened. They got her to get away from him, and the girl kept repeating she had a boyfriend. Andrew responded, "It's cool. I have a long-distance girlfriend. We are open. Do you want to have a threesome with us when she comes down next week?" And kept her in a corner, pushing her on about it until her roommate's boyfriend went over and tried to fight him. They broke away, and just the two walked home, but he followed them halfway in the dorms. Okay. So far, and maybe it'll change, but so far we have nothing. So this is something in my, well, one, there's actually so many of these stories, this guy might actually be fucked no matter what, even if nothing solid does come out. Here's the issue, okay? In my mind, this is what I would need to see, okay? If this event transpired the way that it did, with Andrew badgering a 17-year-old girl in a group of friends, took a 17-year-old to a bar, tried to give her shots and make out with her against her will, and then somebody else's boyfriend had to intervene. If these things happened, there are absolutely text messages that are showing as much. There will be messages, hold on. There have to be a bunch of texts. There have to be a bunch of texts between this group. What do you want?
You did this to me.
Because you wouldn't give me hugs. I gave you hugs.
You didn't give me tickles.
And raper.
Rapers. What? What do you want? Hurry up. August, cut this part out. Okay, yeah, there would be text messages. There probably would be text messages about some of these incidents as well. But in this incident, an incident involving a physical altercation or almost with a 17-year-old girl with underage drinking and a group of friends, and it's with a famous guy. Well, hold on, he might not have been famous yet. Sorry. So you can act to the last one. But for all the other parts, there would be text messages here. Show them. Somebody's got to have a text or a DM or whatever, like, oh my God, last night was crazy, or what happened, or blah, blah, blah. Yeah, there has to be. Cornbread Astral Anonymous compilation. Vosh's reaction to Andrew Callahgan. Oh, I can watch this while we work on our factory. Thank you. Last, I'll briefly sum up the anonymous allegations Cornbread Astral compiled that I mentioned earlier. It's kind of long and one. I think we looked at all these the other day, and none of them were anything. One guy messaged her about a year ago saying he's friends with someone who knows Andrew's camera guy. He states that he's heard Andrew sleeps with women who look very young and live at home, so 99% underage. I don't know what the this shit means. Like, pretty sure. What do you think are the percentage of college students that live at home? I feel like it's got to be like 30 to 50%. You think? How many college students still live at home? Well, wait, we can just look this up. How many college students still, or percentage of college students that live with parents? More than 1/5 of all college students are student parents. No, that's students with children. How many college grads live with their parents? 36% of young adults without a college education. For those who are college educated, it drops to 19%. That's with a degree. If 52% of young adults resided with one or both parents, then probably the majority of college students do, or it's at least higher than 30%. So this idea that like they look young and they live at home.
My impression.
They look young and live at home. That doesn't fucking mean anything. What? That doesn't mean that they're underage. Another DM describes a girl who met Andrew at a party and said at first he seemed nice, but then isolated her in a room and repeatedly asked her to go to his house, not taking no for an answer. She was drunk and he had situated himself close to the door, which was intimidating. The interaction ended with a friend escorted him out. These are all just like random things. 6 DM is someone who says they had a friend who lived with him at a point and his friend told him he sexually assaulted one of the other roommates. Like think of this. You're texting someone, it's like, so this girl is texting someone and that person said that they had a friend who lived with Andrew, and that person that said that they had a friend who lived with Andrew said that Andrew assaulted somebody else. Like, bro, we're on like 6 degrees of separation here. Like, I'm closer related to Hitler at this point than this person is with the accuser and the victim. Like, thanks for summarizing everything in one place. Seems like a ton of smoke for there not to be a fire. This is probably true. It seems like there's probably something more sinister hiding behind the scenes, but so far there's not really a smoking gun or anything crazy on any of this stuff yet. Even still, don't you think the sheer volume of accusations of pretty serious misconduct is indicative of something bad, even without hard evidence? Yeah, but I wouldn't want to cancel a person's career over it. But I also just don't believe some of these things. Like, I don't think I believe this. I don't believe this Navy story without text messages. These people would have been texting about this event. 1,000,000%. I know they would have. There would be DMs or messages about this. If they should be able to produce them. I just don't believe it without. If literally one of these had good logs to go with it, the entire set of yes, true. This is like the Andrew Tate YouTube video things. If one of these allegations was substantiated, then all of the rest of them would start to look way more credible. 100%. Destiny, those are what you refer to as witnesses. No, that's not true. Those are what you refer to as hearsay. A witness is somebody that you can put in front of you and ask questions. Hearsay is when the witness says, oh, I heard this person say a thing. That's not a witness, that's hearsay. That's a witness telling you what somebody else has said about somebody else. It's a different thing. Is it Ms. Kids infiltrating it? Maybe. Why are DMs always considered smoking gun? They could be so easily faked. That to fake DMs would be on some sociopath level shit. Not to say it's impossible, but I don't think anybody's been known to do that before. This is a known troll. Nice. One of the girls said that he begged her not to go public, but she didn't post those logs. Yeah, that would be really important. I don't know why she wouldn't do that. That was his first one, the cornbread asshole. It wouldn't surprise me if a very credible allegation came out when there are this many people reaching back at this time span. It does seem like at the very least you're being creepy. But it'd be nice to have one solid, actual, backed up by evidence accusation, or at least some text messages or something, rather than all of the random hearsay and all of the random accusations with no messages provided.
A lot of people have been saying cover the Andrew Callahgan allegations. Cover the Andrew Callahgan allegation. There was one person who came out and originally made statements about Andrew, stating that I think he pressured her to have sex with him. The first ever allegation was, I never actually saw the first accusation. I don't know what the first one was, but I only saw that I saw a compilation of people saying, oh, he's a bad guy and here is why. And it was this compilation that I saw that I thought was a little ridiculous, because there were parts of it where it was literally Andrew Callahgan, I heard from a friend of a friend, was hooking up with young women with family members. 99% are underage. However, there was some serious ones in between. At first, I thought maybe it's a Aziz Ansari style situation, but one of the people that actually came out, I believe it was Moldy Freckle, who said Andrew assaulted me as well. I'd previously been involved with him, but only when I was extremely drunk. This one was the only one out of all of the random things that were compiled that made it that seemed very severe. Okay. I'm from Seattle. Know many people common with him. You are not the first person. I've heard about the story happening too. Went to a neighboring high school as him. Same thing. He was in high school. Not the first time I'm hearing something about this. Okay, so some of this stuff is just it's a complete hearsay. But this one was the solid one. This one was previously dating, I believe, Andrew.
This one was solid? Wait, was she dating him?
This video in and of itself is a very serious one. There were two videos from her. The first was allegations. The second contained text messages and other anonymous allegations that responded to her post with. Yeah. Obviously, don't dismiss any victims. Don't dismiss anyone coming out with their stories. Unless, of course, their stories are literally I think she just went over and they fucked every now and then. I don't think they were dating. And he told me Andrew's a bad guy. That stuff is ridiculous, obviously. Even if it corresponds to the real evidence that you have in front of you, that's something that you always have to, pay special consideration to. Okay. I always say false allegations are rare, super rare, and it is infinitely more likely that someone that comes out with allegations it is infinitely more likely that someone comes out with allegations that is unnoticed, that goes unnoticed or vilified. Than
all the little
not.
qualifiers
So
we have
this
to give before
person-
every fucking
This
thing.
is the person that first came out. This video came out, from what I understand, she was upset. Here, I'll watch this.
Never in a million years thought that I would be making this video, and I'm shaking because I've tried a couple different times and haven't been able to get my point across, but I don't like seeing abusers get platforms. And my abuser, Andrew Callahgan, also known as All Gas No Breaks, Channel 5, and whatever his new HBO
That's
show's
corny.
called, I forget.
We don't do that shit here, guys.
Has been plastered
Remember,
all over my news feed, and I've
we don't
tried
do
to
that
come to
shit.
him person to person and try to get him to take accountability for what he did, but his version of what happened the night that he assaulted me is so skewed. So I will tell you that he did eventually get consent. And that's the main point, is that he eventually got consent because he wore me down. He told me he needed a place to stay for the night. He had some sort of falling out with one of his crew members or whatever, and I was very clear about the fact that we are not hooking up. He gets in my bed and wears me down to the point where I eventually do agree to do things that I wasn't proud of. And I wasn't proud of them and thought it was my fault for so long that I continued to be nice to him after the situation. He wouldn't leave my house the next morning. And then as time went on and I processed things, I thought, you know what, just because eventually I said, okay, whatever, because I was trying to just get the whole night over with so that it could be morning so that he could leave. It doesn't discount the fact that I told him no. So I told him no so many times prior to this. I said, I'm tired. I'm not really feeling it. I came up with any excuse that I possibly could to just get him off of me.
Oh, both Andrew and her, from what I understand, were extremely drunk when this happened. And that's why it's like this one originally, I don't know any of the, I don't know the exact details of what happened here.
And
This is like one of the first times that I'm hearing about it, other than the fact that I only looked at Reddit pretty much. Like I didn't even see this video itself. And that's still not consent ultimately. Not, you know, it's still coercive in nature if there's like pressure involved. This is a consistent thing that I mention all the time. This happens as a consequence of, one, the ways that everyone is taught on how gender dynamics are supposed to work, even though it is literally wrong, okay? It's a product of the patriarchy. It is social conditioning. And then also on top of that, you pile on the gray nature of interpersonal communication and dynamics, especially in a situation like in a non-platonic romantic situation. All of a sudden, it's basically powder keg. So whenever I see stuff like this, like I try to be as understanding as possible. You know, this is not uncommon. I think that what Andrew was doing, I didn't see this one, but I did see the other one, was pestering. Like he it seems like in this circumstance is a person that he was involved with originally. Like they dated, I believe. And the long and short of it basically is that she was offering him a ride, and he was like trying to hook up with her, trying to kiss her in the neck, trying to hook up with her, and even like went so far as to like pull her hand down his pants. And you know, I mean, here I'll let her explain it.
I told him I would take him home because he lived close by, but that I did not want to have sex in my car at all. I did not want to have sex with him again, ever. And after we got to my car, he started advancing towards me, started touching my inner thigh, and pulled me forward and started kissing my neck. So I really couldn't move out of the position. He was holding me like tightly. And he proceeded to put his hand down my pants. I told him to stop. I told him to get off of me multiple times. He tried to put my hand down his pants, and I was, you know, fighting against him during this, told him to please stop. And he said, you could.
There's no gray area here, man. No, I know. There isn't. There is not. I'm saying
I mean,
that
there is.
in
Come
normal
on.
circumstances,
A lot of gray area here.
something that otherwise, depending on who the two individuals are, would be a consensual touch can immediately be unconsensual. This is one of those circumstances where it clearly is not. It is clear cut. The point is across the board, and this is something, like I said, time and time again, something that I've talked about when describing the nature of consent. When describing the nature of consent and you know, these sorts of dynamics a million times over, I have mentioned this. A lot of chatters are trying to get a clip out of you. Weirdos. Yeah, I assume that the goal here for many people is to try to get me to say something that you can clip and then ship, and you know, say that I am, you know, I'm just say that I'm a hypocrite or something. But like you're betraying the conversation that we're trying to have here. Andrew, as far as I understand, has not said anything about this, and I await for any kind of statement that comes from him. But ultimately, I mean, this seems pretty bad. It's like, it looks like an obvious instance.
And I said, no, I don't want to do that. Get out of my car. At that point, it was, I'm not taking you home anymore. Get the out of my car. And he just got mad, really. He was mad that I would even say that, but at the same time, he...
No, I think that there is a case to be made for this being like, this one especially being assault. and at the very least harassment for sure. The biggest bummer here is not that like I'm friends with Andrew or I know Andrew. You know this.
She said no.
Like,
isn't that the end of it? Yeah, it should be. But the only weird thing is that like a lot of these people are alluding to text messages, but nobody's posted any.
These people have been traumatized by these actions. Like that is the, you know, keep your eyes on the prize, I guess, and be a little bit more understanding.
He was laughing at me and continued to try to kiss me and was like, "Are you serious? Come on, come on." Yeah. It was not fun. So I told him to get out of my car again. He wouldn't get out.
I'm finding it's everything in me to say that we are just seeing an exploitation of the current times by regretful women. I don't think so. My guess would be, based on everything that's come out, at the very least, seems highly likely that he's a, I think the term they used earlier was sex pest. That he is like really pushy and creepy. That seems, based on all that's come out and all that hasn't come out, right? Because not everybody's going to report everything. That seems probably to be the case. He is a kind of a sex creep. The jump from sex creep to goes too far while intoxicated is probably not that big of a jump. So more serious stuff coming out, I think it's possible. But yeah, so he could be donezo. No more Channel 5. Someone needs to make Channel 6 now. Is sex pest a lighter way of saying rapist? No, sex pest is a lighter way of saying somebody who doesn't have the balls to be a rapist. So they go right up to it and they just pressure.
You could at least take me home. So I realized at this point I would not.
I think a lot of people like this usually speak up because they fear that when someone comes out, they usually fear that like this is repeat behavior, and that's the reason why they come out and speak out on things like this. Okay, so they want to prevent this from happening again. It's not like, I know that the immediate alternative is like, oh, this is a person who was scorned and that's why they're coming out. And even if like one person, even if the original accusation is like that, the other people that are coming out in that situation are offering offering repetitive patterns, like pestering, legitimately, like regularly pestering. In some instances, that could lead to a coerced consent, a coerced instance of consent. Even if I were to put myself, I mean, this is a weird thing to say, but even if you were to put yourself in the shoes of the perpetrator, okay, and a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, don't do that. After a sequence of repetitive actions, and this goes for a lot of people, okay? This goes for a lot of dudes. When you engage in this action and it is otherwise rewarded or there's no sort of pushback, you assume that this is the norm, okay? This isn't to take away the responsibility from Andrew in this circumstance. It's not. It certainly isn't. But it is for a lot of people to hopefully understand why these things keep happening all the time, especially because I think that like the systemic aspect of this conversation always gets lost in the sauce in the way that we look at everything. That's why people say like men are trash. Okay, that's where this comes from. Because
wait, real quick, Proteus, did you ever make efficiency modules? There's no way. I'm just not even gonna bother with this dog shit module. I don't think you need them.
A lot of guys, oftentimes in this circumstance, don't understand what they're doing is like completely inappropriate, or there might be a point where they understood that what they were doing was completely inappropriate and have lost touch with that side because this is so heavily normalized and reinforced in society. That is also part of the reason why I always talk about, whenever I cover these sorts of things, whether it be someone I know or someone I don't know, when people go, oh, it seems like there's a lot of people who are doing this sort of thing in this avenue, in Twitch or whatever, right? What you also always need to take into consideration is that this is not just happening on Twitch, or this is not just happening in this circle. It's happening in every circle, in every facet of existence. And I think that the way to solve it is by, again, having empathy across the board, and of course having an honest conversation about these sorts of things, which unfortunately rarely ever happens because.
Could Andrew just take a 4 to 6 month break and come back and operate as normal? If all of these are true, I don't know. Could he? What do you think? It feels like these are kind of bad. I'm not sure if he could.
Ultimately, the people that speak out against these sorts
especially if anything else comes out, but maybe, who knows?
Traumatized individuals who, of course, are going to be on the edge, be defensive. It's understandable. It's a survival mechanism. It's the same as like when I talk about transphobia. Yes, I completely understand why trans people would be more defensive when having a conversation like this. That would otherwise even come across as like to the untrained person who's just like hearing from the outside, like, oh, why are you being so hysterical? Well, yeah, it's because they feel as though their lives are on the line, and in many instances, that's a legitimate reason. Same with this as well. Okay, same with this circumstance as well. I'll wait for what Andrew's side of it is, but it does seem like this is pretty commonplace behavior. As far as like the things I saw, it's usually like known people. These are people that he knew, people that he might have even had a consensual relationship with at some point. And yeah, that's it. I don't know what else to say other than that.
So, first, I just wanted to make sure that he told me he was like at a psych ward. He was not doing well and he was having panic attacks and stuff.
Yeah.
And I, first of all, wanted to make sure that he was safe, that he wasn't going to hurt himself, that he was with people that cared about him. Obviously, I don't want him to die. I'm hoping
Brave.
none of y'all think he should die for this.
Brave stance.
And so I did confirm that he's doing okay. So that was a relief to me. Well, what I was going to say before y'all jump into conclusions is that he confirmed what they're saying is true.
Oof.
Okay?
Yikes.
Y'all, you know what I mean?
Yikes, fam.
He confirmed that he knew the girls and that he had encounters with them. So right out the bat, you know what I mean? He was pretty open, and basically that's what I wanted to hear, right? Like he confirmed that this stuff basically happened.
Okay, well, Channel 5 is channel retired.